Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BT Talks, episode 34. Today, I have the pleasure of having my friend and real estate rock star, Peter Lorimer. I see he joined right now. Hold on one second, he's going to join. I see Mike who joined. Thank you, Mike, for joining.
Greetings. What's up, Ben?
Hey, Peter, how you doing? Good to see
I'm
you.
good, buddy. How are you? Get my phone right. There we
I'm
go.
doing great.
There we go. Let's stay
I
there.
can't complain. Hold on one second. There we go. I put the
What?
earphones because the AirPods, sometimes the sound is not amazing. And I'm actually outdoors because I have a meeting after that. But it's so good to see you. It's been a
You
long time.
too. You too. Nice to be here.
Look,
Nice to be here.
we
Thank you
have
for having me,
Chris.
Ben.
Look, we have our buddy Chris who just joined. Sam who just joined.
What's up, Sam? What's up, Chris? What's up,
a, lo-
Nicole?
a
People are
lot of
joining.
a
People are
lot
joining.
a lot of good people. I love your energy. So, Peter, so for those who don't know you, I always like to start my conversations with a little intro on your journey. You have an awesome journey. I always, as soon as I got into real estate, I mean, you're one of the first people I really looked up to because you're always innovating. You're always challenging yourself. You're doing things differently, which I love. And you built up an amazing company, PLG Estates, which now, you joined Corcoran Global Living. You can talk about that.
Yeah.
But tell everybody a little bit about your journey.
So, thank you, first of all, for having me, Ben. You know, I see you on the social media platforms. You know, you and I are buddies. And
Yeah.
so my journey is probably similar to a lot of folks. I came to the United States in 1993. I was in house music, which was ooch, 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 ooch.
We
You know,
we
that
have
kind of...
we have this passion in common. I actually I didn't do any record producing, but I did DJ for many years and a lot of house music.
Nice, nice. I
Yes.
wonder if you played any of my tracks back then. Anyway, and then that kind of led me into the world of real estate here in Los Angeles, and because I've been working in music, I built up a really nice client base of people. You know, some of them, a lot of them were creatives. I had my fair share of celebrities and rock stars that I'd worked with that unbelievably allowed me to work with them when I became a real estate agent, which I was flabbergasted by. And then I parlayed that into, I was working at a company. Is my signal okay, by the way?
Perfect. I see you
Okay.
perfectly and I can hear you very well.
So I started working at Keller Williams here in LA, and I just I don't really know where it came from. The secret to my success is nothing more than just unrelentless grinding it out. Now, I guess not dissimilar to Gary Vee, but I left the music business and I was lucky. I had a lot of hits. I had approximately 50 number ones in the Billboard dance charts and the Music Week dance charts in Britain. You pull them together and it was somewhere in the region of 50, 40 to 50 number ones. And I left the music business. I had a number one in 12 countries and I kind of got out on top. And I made a point. I'm a man who never looks back. And I like to kind of, I seem to be brave enough that when I feel like I've accomplished something, I will take a massive leap of faith, which is a large part of the CGL story, the Corcoran story.
Yeah.
And then I went into real estate I never looked back. I never tried to do music and real estate. And failure was not an option. And within a couple of years, I was the number one agent in my brokerage in LA. And then within 5 years, I was the number one Keller Williams agent in the whole of LA, at which point I started PLG. You know, I could have taken the easy route and, just stayed at Keller Williams, but I started my own company, which was a whole journey. And then 10 years later, I was approached by everyone and their mother to buy us, to assimilate us. And then Corcoran came along and those folks said, we love what you do and how you do it.
Yeah.
We just want to now support you and partner with you. So
Chris Boswell says, Pete, you're the governor.
the governor, what's up, Boswell? I think he's calling from Saudi Arabia right now.
I don't know, Chris. Are you in Dubai or are you in London? I don't know because he's always traveling, but I know he's moving to Dubai.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
might be. He just sold a big house in Dubai. Bravo, Mr. Corcoran.
yeah, um,
So
yeah.
that was, that's kind of the. It's a really short version, but the journey is. I never rest on my laurels, and I never like to get too comfortable. For me, change is good. I like
Of
change,
course. Yeah,
and I like to take a leap of faith. I like to take big leaps of faith because I happen to believe that I think I live in the greatest city in the greatest country in the world. And what's the worst that can happen? If I get it wrong, I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to be shot. I'm not going to be persecuted for my religious beliefs. I'm not. I have freedom of speech. The worst that can happen is I get a bit of egg on my face, and I do not care. I have no ego in the game. If I get it wrong, I'll be the first to put my hand up and say, "Yeah,
that's
I sucked at that."
but that's amazing, and I think we're both from Europe. I'm from France, and you're from the UK, and we came to this the greatest country in the world, which is true. I mean, it's not perfect, but there's so many opportunities. And I think the United States of America allows you to be yourself and to do whatever you want, and in any industry. So I think if you keep moving forward, and what I followed you from the beginning, and I kind of saw the beginning, also all the videos and the energy and all the energy you put in, and I think it's very inspiring. And this is look today now I mean, the past 10 years you did amazing things, but I think also you created something that, do you say stroke me, was the company culture, which you implemented also with the people with who you worked. I remember when I was in LA and I came by to see you at your West Hollywood office, I was like, this office is the coolest real estate office ever. And it's like you want to be there all day long. And there's little things that make a difference because obviously, there's so many brokerages, big, small, corporate, not corporate. There's no one way to do things. I think in this business, you have the freedom of doing what you want, but you have to be on it. You have to be trustworthy,
Right.
and you have to know your stuff.
And
And
I think, Ben, the thing that is important as whether we're real estate agents, I saw a couple of restaurateurs in the comments there. Whether we're whatever business we are in, at the end of the day, I came from an industry where everybody was very colorful and very outspoken,
yeah,
the music business. And then I joined real estate where I felt a lot of people were very guarded. And it felt, this is back in 2005, like it was an industry that wanted to play in the middle. Meaning, let's try and please everyone all the time. Let's not be too polarized in any direction so that we can appeal to the masses. And that kind of ethos never appealed to me. And I remember when I started PLG, I remember looking at my wife as we stood outside our first office in Beverly Hills. It was just a tiny little office. And I said to her, whether we sink or whether we swim is irrelevant. We just got to do it our way. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we can always go back to another company. And so we came out of the gate with a very strong flavor, a very kind of polarized flavor, of which I thought LA was missing. And we just kind of tripled down on it, and never really wavered from it. And the only time people waver, I think when people play in the middle, it's because of fear. Now, fear and faith are the two navigators that live within me.
I
And
agree. Yeah. Hmm.
fear is scared of what my competition might say, scared of what other agents might say, scared of looking like a wanker on video, scared of being old, too fat, too thin, too tall, too short, whatever the hell it is, too successful, not successful enough, whatever it is. And I refuse to let that in. And I find that the world has shifted in that 15 years. And now when businesses have a very clear voice, they
Yeah.
tend to be the ones that people are attracted to. And this is not a big rah-rah Corcoran thing, but Corcoran, when I met them, I said to them, I said, look, are you sure you want me? Because I'm a very, very outspoken dude with a very, very distinct flavor.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's why we want you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the one. I'm leading LA. I'm the one that's putting the office together. Kind of, it will have our flavor. It will be a beautiful fusion of Corcoran and PLG in Los Angeles, which I think is magical.
So they're giving you the freedom to kind of like lead the company, do your thing. It's not, let's say, corporate. It's more like this is Peter's thing.
They have said, we want you to keep leading the way that you have always led. You're just going to be leading a lot more people.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So
fantastic.
so how many offices are you leading right now in the, I guess, LA area for Corcoran Global?
So we have the PLG offices, of course, have been folded in, and then there's another additional office. Shortly behind that, there is another couple of offices, and then behind that, there's another 8 coming.
Wow.
So and it's the company's only been in California actually for 11, nearly a year. It started last January in California, and they did San Francisco first, and then the Reno Tahoe area, and then LA. We were the announcement on the 11th of November, and by end of spring next year, Corcoran will have a pretty massive footprint in the LA area, and it will all be led by good old Pete Lorimer.
I can't wait to see that. I mean, I love the energy you're bringing to the table. I think I started with Corcoran in New York, which was actually a great training. I met great people, who I kept in touch, and then life took me to different agencies, and now I moved actually to Miami a year ago. I couldn't be happier. I'm building my own business. I met some amazing people, and now actually the landscape of real estate has wherever you are, whether you're in LA, in Miami, in New York, in London, in all places, it has evolved so much. There's different ways to do things, to find new business, to show who you are. I mean, even this BT Talks, which I started actually, I think 3 months ago, which I've been doing consistently with some incredible guests. Chris was actually the first guest on the show. There
Chris
was a lot of
Boswell, God
Chris
bless him.
Boswell. Yeah.
Chris is a
No,
good
but
guy.
a lot of people, real estate, not real estate, a lot of more incredible guests are coming, and I have a lot of fun doing it. I enjoy people. I always say, my passion is real estate and building business, but one of my biggest passions is also people. I love people, and I think it's really, how can I help people? How can I connect people? And I think, it's bringing value to
Right
people,
now.
and it's okay. And that's the beauty of having the internet and video, especially now with all this, we had the pandemic and COVID and all this stuff, and everything has accelerated towards that. So how do you see like the future of real estate now? Because everything is
So
changing.
I think that's a great question, Ben, and it's something that I have a very, I don't really know where it comes from. I have a very, I'm not good at everything, but I can kind of see around corners.
You're good
And
at looking at trends. I can see that.
yeah, I'm good at looking at trends. I'm not good at everything. I'm terrible at email, but I'm all right at looking at trends, right? I can see what's coming.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel that the world was already beginning to head this way. It was kind of heading in 2 directions. It was heading in shiny, pretty digital marketing, glorious apps, and amazing newsletters, and this, that, and the other that are sparkly, pretty, kind of
Everything perfect.
automatically
Yeah.
program stuff.
Yeah.
But then, in conjunction with that, I think the art of the one-on-one was beginning to kind of get a little bit lost. And then COVID hits. And when COVID hit, it kind of almost reset the entire world. And
Yep.
people began to feel what was what was more important to them. And I have certainly experienced in my business, and I know the agents that I work with have experienced it, which is the relationships that have been forged or reignited during COVID have actually, they are becoming some of the most fruitful relationships. I remember prior to COVID and last year, for example, it was so hard to kind of keep up on social media and keep up on all the emails and keep
All
up
that
on
stuff.
this and keep up on that. And you got to post this and you got to post that. And it's like, oh my God, there's just no time left in the day. But now I feel that people are, I mean, don't get me wrong, social media is massively important, But I believe that 2021 is almost a little bit of a reset back to relationship forging. I'm a massive fan of sphere of influence. I
100%.
always look to my sphere of influence first, right? I have one day I will paint this on the walls of all the Corcoran offices, which is
Yeah.
when you run out of people you know, look for strangers. I don't like Zillow. I don't like random
Yeah.
internet leads. I don't like all of these pay me $2,000 and get 40 listing appointments. I hate all that shit. Oh, you froze, Ben.
Yeah, I'm back here. You good?
Yeah, you're back. And you're back.
Okay, here I am.
So I think I think the what next year is doubling down even more on personal communications, whether it be a personal video text or a text message, a DM or whatever it is. But I think mass marketing, it has its place to remind people of who you are and what you're about. However, there is nothing more meaningful than a one-on-one conversation where it isn't just
I
like, hey Ben, how you doing? Have you thought about buying or selling? That shit just don't work.
couldn't agree more. I'm a massive fan of, always staying in touch with people, and whether it's sending text or video. I mean, I send my friends, my network videos. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Whether it's happy birthday or just to tell them a little bit about something, or just staying. WhatsApp is fantastic. I'm always using WhatsApp with, people all over the world. My database is in WhatsApp. So I really believe that, the tools we have allow us to do that. But in 2021, I mean, just this personal relationship is very, very important. And we don't need to do all this perfect email, website. I mean, it's all nice and shiny, but it's not,
Yeah, perfection will destroy a career,
I agree.
right? For
Yeah.
me, it is action. When we remain in action, out of expectations, that's when the magic happens.
Action without expectation,
We
100%.
must remain in action and utterly divorced from expectations. That doesn't mean we don't have goals. It doesn't mean that we don't strive. To live is to strive.
Yep.
But if we are sending emails and the buried kind of narrative of that email is to only for you to get business, I think it smells bad. I think people feel it. The way that I still prospect, the way that I reach out and I touch with my databases, I just reach out at the art of how you're doing. I reach out to everyone and I just say, hey, how you doing? What's going on in your world? How are the kids?
Yeah.
What's shaking? And if it gets to real estate, it gets to real estate. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And
But
that's the way I've done it from the get-go, from being a new agent. And
yeah.
when people hear that you are genuinely interested in them
Yeah.
and their life and their families, and you must be genuinely interested, it just seems to make any barriers melt, and then trust is forged. And for me, we don't sell houses, we sell trust. People,
So, yeah.
when people trust us, they work with us. You don't need to be the most qualified or be the number one agent. They just need to trust you and feel that
Everybody,
you got their back.
yeah, especially in our markets, LA and Miami, everybody's number one. So,
Right.
it's like, yeah, number one agent sold $300 million houses. No, I think it's trust, and it's always, being on top of things and being responsive also. I'm, again, like I said, I'm here since a year, and I planted very important seeds, which I think are going to blossom very soon. But it's also because of, you know, I think I'm a likable person, but it's also the responsiveness and the knowledge and all these things, which, Miami, there's a pocket of incredible agents, but there's also a lot of agents that I don't know how in LA it is, but here, a lot of agents that don't respond, that don't know the market, that are not trustworthy. And then the other thing is we all connect around passions, whether it's through music, whether it's through motorcycles. One of my biggest passions is motorcycles. When I was in New York, I was riding motorcycles with friends every weekend, and I built a massive network through that. And I'm
Right.
still in touch with them. Yeah.
It's like the other one is people don't care what you do; they care why you do it. Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm an ex-rave music record producer doing real estate, what drives me to do that? It can't just be a paycheck. people always like to know the story. People always like to know the narrative.
Yeah.
And I have all the best tip I can give any agent or any profession, any professional in any profession, is when you are working with them, working with someone, don't look at each client as a paycheck. Look at what you make in a year as a salary. And then also look at each person and pretend they are part of your extended family.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot of
treat them
listening. Yeah.
as such.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of listening. When you're with clients, whether they're new clients or people and listening what they want, who they are, how they are, and then you forge this relationship. And for me, I always say, when I meet new people, I want to build lifelong relationships. I want to build experiences with them. I think that's a key to happiness and to also success, which
Right.
becomes natural.
Right. For sure. I mean, I just think, thankfully, the whole Glenn Ross always be closing. I just think that mentality is just done. And
Yeah.
and I've never really understood door knocking. I've never really understood cold calling. The hopes that you might randomly run into somebody in the public who is just thinking about selling their house, and if they are, you happen to call at the right time. I get it. It's relationship building. But I would much rather relationship build by going through my database of people that I know, striking up conversations, and then ultimately some of the people say, oh, you know what, you need to speak to Bill because Bill's thinking about selling his house, or Shirley her daughter just graduated, so they're going to be downsizing.
Yeah.
It's the moment we look at people as walking commission checks, it's the beginning of the end, man. I just utterly cut off all expectations and just do my very best. And when I do that, that's when the floodgates seem to open, man.
100%. So I know now you're focused on building Corcoran Global Living in LA, and I know also you released a song not long ago. Are you planning to do another song or no? Another hit song?
Shit. Okay. All
I don't
right.
know.
So let me give you the 411 on that.
It's
So
a fun question.
that was a record called 29 Palms Touch the Sky, which is the record that I referred to earlier in the conversation that was number one in 12 countries.
Yeah.
My friend Paul Oakenfold, who owns Perfecto Records, he said, we're re-releasing it, Pete, and we're going to get remixes done. So I said, hey, can I do a remix? And it was the first remix I had done in, I don't know, 15, 16 years. And it was fun, but it took a long time. And I think my days in the music business are over. It was an itch that I scratched, but I don't
Oh,
think
that's
I'm
fun.
going to be going back there anytime soon.
Got it. All right. Well, Peter, thank you so much for being part of this conversation, being a fantastic guest as usual. And as you like to say, join the rebellion. And for anybody so make sure to follow Peter on Instagram, but he also has an awesome podcast. He's on YouTube. You can find him. He has a lot of information, and it's just fun. He's a great guy. And if you're in LA, reach out to him.
Yeah,
He's
for
an awesome
sure.
guy.
For sure. I'm looking for creatively minded, cool real estate professionals in the LA area. So if you feel like you cut the
There you go.
mustard, then
There you go.
then give me a call. But Ben, you're an
Thank you, sir.
ally, a member of the rebellion, and thank you
Thank
very
you.
very much for having me on your show. I really do
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. And come to Miami whenever you can.
I love
All right.
Miami.
Please come. All right. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Namaste.
All right. Bye-bye. Namaste.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ben.